On the rooftops high above the city, Felicia Hardy begins her criminal career as the Black Cat by preparing to invade a police station. After breaking in and quietly stealing some files, she quickly makes her exit. Then, after reading over the files, she departs to prepare for the next steps in her plan. Felicia then tracks down a muscle-bound thief named Bruno while he is in the process of stealing tires. After testing his strength in battle, she overpowers him but is still impressed, so she offers him a job. Next, she interrupts a demolitions expert named Boris and recruits him as well. Later, while Spider-Man is patrolling the city, he spots the Black Cat traveling by rooftop. Impressed with her abilities, he decides to follow her, hoping that she is not a criminal and that maybe he can ask her out on a date. As he watches, Felicia meets with an arms dealer to purchase weapons for her plan. Seeing this, a disappointed Spider-Man swings down to interrupt the illegal arms deal, but Felicia takes him off guard with her abilities. Using the element of surprise, Felicia gets the upper hand, able to land a few kicks on the wall crawler. However, Spider-Man immediately comes back unfazed by her strikes. But Felicia distracts Spider-Man in conversation as a rack of guns falls on him. However, Spider-Man catches up with her, so Felicia turns around, announcing that she gives up. Walking up to Spider-Man, she starts to flirt with him, saying that she admires him and even keeps a scrapbook of him, and begins to lift up his mask. When Spider-Man protests, she says she won't unmask him as she likes her men mysterious, and then she kisses him. Caught off guard, Spider-Man is unable to stop the Black Cat as she flees when the authorities arrive. Back at her hideout, the Black Cat reveals her plan to her crew. They are breaking into a prison. Later, after doing some investigating, Peter learns that Walter Hardy has been locked up in prison for the past few decades and is terminally ill. Realizing that the Black Cat plans on breaking him out of prison, Spider-Man goes there to prevent it from happening. Outside of Hardy's cell, Spider-Man is attacked by the Black Cat, while Boris and Bruno implement her plan behind the scenes. As they fight, even though Peter starts to flirt with her, Felicia says it's business before pleasure, and she will kill him if she has to. Then, while saying she's taking Walter Hardy, she blows Spider-Man a kiss, and Boris's bomb explodes. Spider-Man is caught in the blast and left buried under a pile of rubble. As the alarms sound, Felicia tells Spider-Man that this is what happens when you let a Black Cat cross your path. As Spider-Man lies in the rubble, Felicia makes her escape while carrying her father. Evading the police, Felicia then meets up with Bruno and Boris on the prison wall. After thanking her hired men, she parts ways with them and begins her journey home. Traveling across the rooftops, Felicia uses her finely honed skills to avoid disaster when a cable breaks. While her father questions who she is, she avoids answering him and finally arrives back home. She then lays her father on his bed, explaining that he can now die at home with family. Then, finally unmasking, Felicia reveals that she is Walter's daughter and that she had learned that he was the world's greatest cat burglar and wants to be just like him. She adds that she trained herself in martial arts and gymnastics to follow in his footsteps. Hearing this, her father tries to explain that he did not want her to be tainted by his evil deeds, but Felicia leaves the room without listening. Then, after Mrs. Hardy returns home, Felicia makes her exit, leaving her mother to be with her father alone. Suddenly, Spider-Man appears outside of Felicia's home, and as he begins to playfully flirt with her, Felicia attacks him, saying that she'll kill him if he doesn't leave her father alone. During the fight, Felicia pleads with Spider-Man to not try to stop her, explaining that her father doesn't deserve to suffer in prison any further. But he continues on his pursuit anyway. As the two battle, Felicia says that she thought Spider-Man would take her side, but maybe she misjudged him. Spider-Man explains that, right or wrong, she can't just break someone out of jail, but Felicia evades him due to his injured arm and continues to run. As Felicia hides, she waits for the opportunity to strike, and then lands a jump kick while Spider-Man is off balance, resulting in both of them falling towards the icy waters. But Spider-Man grabs the edge of the roof with one arm, and Felicia with the other. However, the pain from his injured arm is too much, and he has to let go, sending Felicia plunging into the rapids below, seemingly to her death. Then, going back to the Hardy home, Peter finds Mrs. Hardy crying over the body of her recently passed husband, and decides to leave and let her be. One day, the Black Cat reappears to take photos of Spider-Man for her scrapbook as he stops a car chase, and after the incident, she heads to the art museum. There, she finds the Golden Lover statue that she aims to steal. When a guard finds Felicia, she blows him a kiss, which results in him being knocked out in an accident. Then, as Felicia flees, Spider-Man suddenly arrives to stop her, asking how she managed to survive their last encounter. But Black Cat won't tell, and as she tries to flee, Spider-Man snags the statue with his web. Then, as the police arrive, Felicia decides to make her escape without it. Back at her studio apartment, Felicia frustratedly scratches posters of Spidey on the wall, saying, "If you knew the reason I steal, you wouldn't interfere. Don't make me hurt you." The next day, Felicia returns to the museum to find that the statue is back in its original place, pondering how Spider-Man has made her life more difficult. Later, when she makes another attempt at the statue, Spider-Man once again appears. Engaging in battle, Felicia threatens to destroy various valuable pieces of art, which Spider-Man must protect in addition to trying to capture her. She finally manages to crash a shelf of heavy pottery on him, leaving him dazed long enough to make her escape with her prize. After this, Kat appears at an auction, and using her finely honed acrobatics, she is able to quickly steal a gem and escapes by crashing out of the window. Then, returning to her apartment, she settles down to relax in her bed, proclaiming that she's acquired her first two prizes and there is only one left to obtain. However, Spider-Man tracks Kat down during her next robbery, and when his web shooters jam up, he starts to battle her. Unfortunately, an organ breaks loose from the wall, and Spider-Man is forced to let Kat go in order to prevent it from crushing the guards. Later that evening, Felicia appears at the estate of Laszlo Bellflower and tells him that she has 3 artifacts to trade for the Helen Epistle. After she makes the trade, Bellflower pours them drinks while Felicia changes into the Black Cat and points a gun at him. Then, she forces him to hand back over the artifacts, so she has all 4. However, Spider-Man again tracks Kat down as she is packing up her treasures. While engaging in battle, the chandelier snaps and falls, but after Spider-Man leaps out of the way, Felicia has already made her escape. Following the signal of a spider tracer that he placed on Felicia, Spider-Man tracks her down to her studio apartment. As she admires her artifacts, he crashes through the skylight and tells her that he has come to retrieve the stolen items. But surprisingly, Felicia says she will not stop him because she stole the items for him and then shows off her apartment, which is decorated with his photographs and posters. She explains that when she returned after their first battle, after her father's death, her mother made her promise to obtain professional help to stop living a life of crime. She decided that there could be no better professional help than Spider-Man, on whom she already had a crush. As the Black Cat embraces Spider-Man, he realizes that her father's death must have shattered her emotional balance, and she needs psychiatric help. Then, saying he knows some doctors, Spider-Man says he will get Felicia all the help she needs. Sometime later at a state mental hospital, Felicia's nurse asks her about her encounters with Spider-Man. Felicia recounts her criminal career as the Black Cat, claiming that though Spider-Man was nice, he didn't understand her, and explains that she tricked him into thinking that she had gone insane. Then, adding that it's easier to escape a hospital than a prison, she abruptly takes her nurse captive and leads her into her room, where she ties her up to the bed with a cruel note for the doctors to find. Soon, Felicia is back to her criminal activities and steals valuable art, easily escaping without setting off the security system. Recognizing herself as the greatest cat burglar like her father before her, Felicia realizes she wants more recognition, so she throws a stone to shatter the window and set off the alarms. She then slips away from the scene of the crime in a horse-drawn carriage, and considering that the job was too easy, her thoughts turn to Spider-Man. Later at her penthouse apartment, Felicia admires her newly acquired art piece but feels lonely, so she puts on a disguise to go to the laundromat. There, Felicia meets a man who invites her for a drink, but she declines, unable to stop thinking about Spider-Man. As she wonders how she can get in touch with him, she stumbles upon an advertisement for a skywriting company. Soon, Felicia leaves a message for Spider-Man to go to the place they first met, and after learning of the message, Peter goes to the location and finds Kat waiting for him. While Felicia says she only wants to talk, Spider-Man grabs her, determined to put her behind bars this time. Then they begin to battle, and as they do, Felicia starts to playfully flirt with him during the fight. She then explains how she followed in her father's footsteps to be the world's best cat burglar and how she stole a painting from a crime boss the previous night. When she adds that she wants to be with Spider-Man, he responds that it wouldn't work out between them due to the crime she commits. So Felicia claims she'll give it up for him. But Spider-Man is unsure of this and says that he is not like Felicia. When she asks why he plays Spider-Man, Peter tries to explain his lesson of power and responsibility, but Felicia interjects that he does it for the kicks, which he partially admits. Then she makes the offer to be with her again, but when Spider-Man says she'll have to turn herself in if she's serious about reforming, a disappointed Felicia makes a quick escape. However, Spider-Man finds a note on the ground from Kat to meet her at the Bradshaw costume party the following evening. Later at the party, Kat searches around until she finds Spider-Man in a hooded costume. As they begin to dance, she explains that she brought him there to show him how she can help him in his career. Then, upon seeing Bradshaw, Felicia reveals in front of everyone that she stole his painting, which starts a battle against Bradshaw and his thugs. After overcoming the criminal gang together, Spider-Man and Black Cat watch as the police arrive and round up the criminals. Afterward, Cat suggests that they celebrate their victory together by sharing a kiss, and asks Spider-Man if he's now convinced that she wants to reform. Reluctant at first, Spider-Man gives in, lifting up his mask to kiss her. After Spider-Man desperately pleads with Police Captain Jean DeWolf to give the Black Cat a chance to reform, he heads to Felicia's apartment. When he arrives, they say they missed each other, and Felicia shows him papers on a valuable statuette she found in the city. When Spider-Man asks if she wants him to nab the thief, Felicia says of course not, explaining that she wants to steal it to secure a nest egg for them. Furious, Spider-Man throws the papers to the floor, saying she's crazy if she thinks he'd let her pull off another job. He explains that he just tried to convince the police that she wanted to reform. Hearing this, Felicia admits she's a little bad, but asks if the police believed him. He replies that they didn't, but he did. Saying that old habits die hard, Felicia hugs Spider-Man and tries to flirt with him to win him over. But Spider-Man says he must leave, adding that he'll be back later. After he leaves, Felicia admits to herself that this will be a difficult relationship to maintain. Then, after imagining changing her lifestyle for love, Felicia starts to sing joyously. But she steps on her papers, reminding her of the statuette, which pulls her back out of her fantasy. That evening, the Black Cat sets out to steal the statuette, easily slipping past the security systems. She uses her skills to snatch her prize, and while making her escape, she runs right into Spider-Man waiting for her on the balcony. After Spidey scolds her for lying, Felicia admits she let him down and claims she'll put the statuette back. Leading the way, she jumps through a security system and directs Spider-Man to follow. But doing so, he triggers a different alarm on the floor below, one she hadn't mentioned. Grabbing Felicia, Spidey demands to know what she's doing. She reveals she thought about it and decided no one would ever believe that she'd reform. So, she decided Spider-Man should be her companion in the robbery business, and now that he's triggered the alarms, they're in it together. While Spidey is furious about her attempt to make him a criminal, Felicia argues he'd be more like Robin Hood. Suddenly, their argument is interrupted by the owner Galvagno and his armed men. Galvagno announces that burglary is against the law and threatens them with the police. When Spidey argues against it, Galvagno opts to use his guns to finish them off instead. During the battle, Cat frantically tries to retrieve the statuette, but Spider-Man argues against it, demanding they leave immediately. When he gets pulled into a fight with the guards, Felicia escapes, leaving him to fend for himself. Then, after finishing off the guards, Spider-Man pursues Black Cat and says if she really cares about him, she'll go to the police with him. But Felicia says that jail wouldn't look good on her and continues to flee, quickly stealing a motorcycle to make her escape. When she reaches the docks, Spider-Man snags the cycle with his web, sending Felicia flying. As she flees on foot, he webs her up. He then explains that he can't keep giving her second chances and that he won't compromise his principles any further. But Felicia says she would rather die than go to jail and makes her escape, seemingly drowning in the waters below. After Spider-Man searches for Felicia and is unable to find her, Captain DeWolf arrives with the very thing he had asked for: conditional amnesty papers for the Black Cat. Too late, Spidey throws the papers to the water and mourns.